tribulations, my heart, my balls, my somebody stop me, somebody come and get me. Little did I know that the Lord was riding with me. The law, the light, my heart, the fight, the wrong, the right is gone.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review. Today, we are bringing you the latest from director Ron Howard and Amazon Prime. And this one is called 13 Lives, which is a true story. Here's the quick synopsis. A rescue mission is assembled in Thailand, where a group of young boys and their soccer coach are trapped in a system of underground caves that are flooding. This one stars Viggo Mortensen, Colin, Farrell, and Joel Edgerton. First thing is, this was an amazing story that everyone knew about it. It captivated us when it was going on, and we were wondering, how would these boys get out? Here, Ron Howard does what Ron Howard does best, which is these amazing retellings of stories and his ability to bring up the emotions in characters that aren't necessarily the biggest element of the story, but still an important part of the story here. We first are introduced very quickly to the soccer team, to the coach, and we go immediately into them being trapped in this cave as they were going, I think it was practice, and after practice they decided to go swimming as kids do, and with their coach, and then that's when they get trapped in this cave because of a monsoon that hits. I love the point that this film jumped directly into the reason why we were here. There's not much backstory until the team was doing this, and then this day they did this, and then on the fifth day they get stuck. It went immediately to the story because it needed to, because then we get these amazing characters from Colin Farrell and Viggo Mortensen, who play two key divers who, while watching on the news, Colin Farrell character decides hey, we need to show up there. We need to lend our help. We need to try to help get these boys out. The diving scenes in this film are thrilling. Again, this is something that Ron Howard does so well, is the camera work in these tight little spaces, the close-up shots to just show the stress that these characters are going through. It is amazing what he does with the water work, with the diving, with them trying to get intricately in and out of these caves and these little pockets that they must go through. It is thrilling. It's amazing. It's some of the best work you're gonna ever get, and that happens within the first 20 to 30 minutes into the film. And then we see them as they arrive at the boys, and then that's when the story kicks up as we know it, and how the government got involved, and how they brought other divers into play to help save these boys. It's a great thing that you see a movie like this, because it gives a little insight on how they got the boys out of the cave, how they came up with the plan to get the boys out of the cave, and just everyone's reaction as we see a whole community come around attempting to get these boys out, understanding that they don't have too much longer to live. It's a harrowing story. It's an amazingly acted story. And I can't think of a bad thing to say about this movie. The only thing I can wonder is, why wasn't this movie released in theaters? This movie is shot beautifully. I could just imagine being in a theater, in an IMAX theater, and seeing this movie, and it looked amazing. So I just question a little bit why possibly we didn't get that view of it. Instead, we get it on Amazon, which is not a bad thing. It's great that people get to see this at home, because it will lead to more people seeing this film. But just the magical work that Ron Howard pulls off. Colin Farrell gives a great performance. Viggo Mortensen gives a great performance. This whole cast is really, really good. The whole thrilling adventure of the cave dive, which again, shot so well. Even the little graph that they give you to show the amount of hours it took for them to get to the beginning of the cave to where the boys were, and then the mission they had to go on attempting to get these boys out. This was it's parts of this movie where, even though we already know the outcome if you know the story, it is still so thrilling that it makes you wonder, okay, are they going to survive? I don't know if they're going to survive. It was very reminiscent of Apollo 13. I think which is another Ron Howard film, where it makes you wonder, okay, I know the history of it, but is this really going to happen? Are they really going to survive? Because it looks like there's no way they're going to survive this. I think that's where Ron does his best work at is giving you these thrilling moments in these true life events and like sucking the audience in so well you forget that you actually know the outcome of this story. It was multiple times during watching this film where I completely forgot that I knew that the entire team survived. It was times I said, oh, there's no way this person's going to survive. There's no way they're going to get out of this. There's no way with this insane plan they had to come up with to rescue these boys that it would actually work. And again, it does so much credit to a masterful director that he's able to pull this type of story off and it still be thrilling to people. And that's on that premise alone, that's the reason you should check this film out. But again, it's excellently shot. Acting is a great, amazing. It thrills you on so many levels. It's a touching human story as we see the village all come together to save these boys. Just the minor stuff that happens. It's one blip of a thing that happens in the film where they tell the farmers that, we have to get the water out of these caves or they won't survive. And the only way we get these water out of these caves is we flood your crops. But if we flood your crops, like technically you're losing everything. And just the village coming together and saying, if it's going to save the boys, it's worth it. Like at a time that we are in now, where everybody seems to be so divided, you need a story like this just to remind people like we work better when we come together. And that's I think the overall message in this film is everyone came together to save these boys, no matter your background, your race, your religion, no matter what you believe. They all came together to save these boys, and we get this amazing, harrowing story about it. Something that, again, a younger generation who may not remember this moment or who may actually weren't alive during this time period, this is something they get to see and wonder, like, wow, I can't believe this happened. Let me look more up on this event. Let me look more up on these divers, things of this nature that I think is so thrilling and harrowing that I would question why anybody wouldn't want to see this movie. This movie is great. This is a must-see movie. Again, the only problem I have is I wish I could have seen this movie in an IMAX theater and been blown away by just everything that you could have gotten from that type of experience. But 13 Lives, brought to you by Amazon Prime, and it is currently streaming. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give 13 Lives a 9 out of 10. This is quite possibly the best studio film released this year. And I know people are going to say it clearly has what I call nitpicking flaws that people are going to find with it. But what you can't nitpick is that the direction is amazing, the sound is amazing, the cinematography with some of the shots they get under the water in these caves as these divers struggle to get to the boys and struggle to rescue these boys. Those shots are just amazing with a great performance. I mean, Colin Farrell, on this second half of his career, after the world thought he would be the next big Hollywood blockbuster superstar actor, and now with this transition of him taking on these extremely serious, deep, thought-provoking roles, like this second half of his career is amazing. It's kind of rivaling what you got from Matthew McConaughey when he did that exact same transition. I think Colin Farrell is doing that exact same transition, and he's nailing every role he's been in, I want to say, in the last 5 years. The man has not done a bad movie, and this one is no exception. So check it out. Let us know what you think. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.